Hey, my name is Shanice and welcome to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be interpreting the birth chart of Michael Jackson and going over the major events that happened in his life. I'm introducing a new series here called Ancestor Astrology Report. And in this series, I am hoping to show you guys the human side of these influential people. And I hope to inspire you to go and look at your birth chart to see how the stars align for you as well. So, if this is something that you are interested in hearing about, then keep on watching. And I also want to say that I'm responding to a TikTok video of a guy who spreads misinformation, and I want to clarify it. Y'all, start doing your research. Stop listening to everybody just talk about their opinions because sometimes it's not backed up by facts and sometimes people lie. And in this case, this person uploaded a court document that is very misleading. And I want to clarify that. So if you are interested in hearing about any of this, then keep on watching. Michael Jackson was born August the 29th, 1958 in Gary, Indiana. Michael was the eighth of 10 children in the Jackson family. From a very young age, it was clear that Michael was not just any ordinary kid. He had a gift for singing and performing that stood out even in his talented family. Michael's father, Joseph Jackson, or better known as Joe, recognized the potential in his sons. He was very strict, pushing Michael and his brothers to rehearse and perform to the best of their abilities. Joe was tough on those boys. It was rooted in his desire to see his children succeed far beyond the challenges and limitations he faced in his own life. He believed that discipline was the key to making it in this competitive world of music. This strict upbringing played a significant role in shaping Michael's dedication to his craft in music. He practiced tirelessly, honing his skills as a singer, dancer, and performer. It wasn't just a natural talent that made Michael Jackson a star. It was also his incredible work ethic that was instilled in him from a very young age from his father. Michael Jackson's roots in a hard-working, talented family under the strict guidance of his father Joseph laid the foundation to create a legend. His music, his moves, and his impact on the world remains unforgettable. Michael's story reminds us that greatness is not just born, it is built day by day, note by note. All right, so let's get started. I'm using a birth time that I got from Astro Databank, and according to that website, the birth time that I'm using has an A rating, and that just means that it comes from a reliable source, but it's not from the birth certificate. It's pretty accurate. It's better than getting a B, a C, or a double D, which means those are less reliable. So you're going to go with this birth time. This is an image of a bi-wheel, and specifically a transiting bi-wheel. So the outer wheel represents the current planetary positions in the sky, and in this bi-wheel, the inner wheel represents a natal chart. And this helps you track major events in your life, past, present, and future. And it's useful for personal growth. So transits can highlight areas of your life where growth and challenges may arise, helping you focus on personal development. Also, timing. They can help you choose the best timing for important decisions, like starting a job, moving houses, or beginning a new relationship. Also, for emotional insight. Transits can also give you a heads up on emotional climates, helping you understand your feelings and reactions better. For example, my Cancer folks, we are ruled by the moon, or we are what's the word am I looking for? We are heavily influenced by the moon's transits. So the moon switches signs every 2.5 days. And when the moon switches signs, that's different emotions. So that's why people say that cancers are moody. And if you have heavy cancer energy or personal cancer placements, you might be more sensitive to the moon. Therefore, track the transits of the moon. The key to tracking transits, number one, know your natal chart. I cannot stress that enough. Learn the ins and outs of you and be very honest with yourself. Like I said earlier, we embody all 12 zodiac signs, positive and the negative. So be honest with yourself when you are studying and learning your birth chart. Number two, looking for the current planetary positions. So find where the planets are currently and compare it to your natal chart. There are so many different apps that offer this type of software where you can generate a bi-wheel. I personally use Luna Astrology, and I'll leave a link down below. This is not sponsored, but they offer two options, which per month, if you want to choose to subscribe to them, you pay a monthly or an annual fee. And the monthly fee is $7.99 and the annual fee is $59.99. All right. Number three, compare the positions to your natal chart. So when you compare these positions, look to see where the planets are and if it's next to any other planet in your natal chart. For example, if Mars is in the same house of your natal chart and it's right next to of your natal chart, if it's in the same house that your natal Mars sits in your natal chart, then you're having a Mars return. That's important because Mars represents how we initiate things. So if you are uncomfortable with how you initiate things, the Mars return will be a perfect time to manifest a new cycle of how you would like to initiate things going forward. Number four, understand its effects. Each planet and sign carries specific energies. For instance, if Jupiter, the planet of growth and expansion, is transiting your career house, it might be a favorable time for you to look for new job opportunities or advancements. Now I'm going to interpret each house and sign as well as the planets of Michael Jackson's birth chart. And I'm also including clips of how this energy showed up in his life. Now, I also want to include a disclaimer. Um, please be respectful. I tried to be as unbiased as I could be creating this video, but I'm going to be honest. A lot of the negativity that surrounds this man is a lot of rumors. I have not found anything that was credible to convict him of being guilty of anything outside of what he showed us and what we know to be fact. So if you have any negativity or if you want to put your negative opinion in the comments, you will get blocked. I just don't like negativity. And I am the type of person that is positive and loving and vulnerable and honest. And I find that a lot of people aren't. So if you come on my channel with your hate and negativity, you will be blocked. Michael Jackson's first house has the sensitive and intuitive sign of Pisces there. The first house is like the front door to your personality, the way you present yourself to the world. And with Pisces being there, Michael Jackson showed himself as a deeply empathetic and creative soul. Pisces is known for its artistic talent, emotional depth, and somewhat mystical or elusive quality, all of which were evident in Michael Jackson's public persona. Michael's natal moon, with the moon representing our emotions, instincts, and inner needs, also resided in his first house. This placement intensified his Pisces traits, making him exceptionally sensitive, in tune with the emotions of those around him, and capable of expressing profound emotional depth through his music and performances. The moon here made him not just see the world through an emotional lens, but also seek the deep connection with his audience. His songs often spoke of love, healing, and social issues, reflecting his Pisces heart's concern for the world and its well-being. His legendary music videos, like Thriller and Black or White, showcased his imaginative abilities, blending storytelling with the cutting-edge technology of his time to create visual masterpieces that captivated millions. Michael Jackson's first house in Pisces, with his natal moon, painted a picture of a man whose life and persona were defined by a deep emotional sensitivity, artistic genius, and a profound connection to the human experience. His ability to convey complex emotions through music and dance, touching the souls of people worldwide, was a different reflection of his Pisces heart and the empathetic, imaginative spirit that guided him.
I think with any type of creation, you create what's inside of you. Subconsciously, what influences you. I'm a fantasy fanatic, and anything that took you off into another world, escapism, that's what I like. I'm not so crazy about the reality of everything. I like a lot of fantasy, and that's what I try to create, to get away. To become moved. To become moved.
Now let's look at Michael Jackson's second house, which has the zodiac sign Aries and the South Node there. Michael Jackson's second house in the energetic and assertive sign of Aries gives us an insight into how he approached his values, possessions, and self-worth. Aries, being in the second house, brings a dynamic and proactive energy to how someone earn their money and assert their values. For Michael, this meant a bold and pioneering approach to his career and finances. He wasn't just a performer, he was an innovator in the music industry, constantly pushing the boundaries of what was possible in art and entertainment. The presence of the South Node in Michael Jackson's second house adds another layer to understanding Michael's financial and material journey. The South Node represents past life talents and qualities that we bring into this life, but it also points to areas where we might become too comfortable or stuck. For Michael, this could mean that his innate talents and abilities to assert himself and take initiative were really strong. Yet, the South Node also suggests a need to balance these qualities by not solely relying on them or letting them define his sense of security. In Michael's life, this Aries energy in the second house was evident through his remarkable self-reliance and determination to succeed on his own terms. He was fiercely independent in managing his career, often taking risks that others might shy away from. This approach not only revolutionized the music industry and entertainment industry, but it also solidified his status as a global icon. Michael Jackson's second house in Aries, coupled with the South Node, painted a picture of a man driven to assert his values and achieve greatness through his creativity and leadership. His life story reflects the fiery determination of Aries to make a mark on the world, balanced by the lessons of the South Node in understanding the truth sources of value and self-worth.
He tried to beat me and stuff like that because I sang the wrong, I didn't do something right, or I did the wrong dance tune or whatever, the wrong move. And I would argue back and I would fight back.
And all the big brothers just sit there and watch?
Yeah, they were scared of him, and I threw a shoe at him and stuff. And I'd run like hell.
It must have been a sight.
He couldn't catch me, you know. And he knocked me down on the floor one time because we were rehearsing in our living room. I did something wrong. He knocked a mess out of me. And we were supposed to perform somewhere the next day. And he knocked me down so hard, I lost my wind, right? And I was just little. So I got up. I was so furious. You talk about me being conceited now. I got up. And I was crying. And I said, Joseph, if you hit me again, I'm not performing. He's like, what the fuck did you say? I said, if you hit me again, I am not performing. You leave me alone. I said, I'm not doing the show. He said, don't you know I will kick your ass back and all this and that.
He hit me, I would hit him back, which was terrible. And I would run around the house and hide and all that stuff. But I would really get it more than anybody.
He made believers out of everybody. Record people didn't think it was possible. He would invest his personal money into videos to take them to the next level. When the company would say the budget is tight, there's no more budget for you, he would kick in another whatever it took to make the video great. And that's what made him different. He believed in himself.
Michael Jackson's third house in Taurus, hosting his natal Mars, provides a unique perspective on his communication style, thought processes, and how he interacted with his immediate environment. Taurus is a sign known for its steadiness, love of beauty, and a preference for a calm, secure approach to life. Having the third house in Taurus suggests that Michael valued clear, thoughtful, and sometimes deliberate ways of expressing himself. He likely preferred conversations and ideas that had a depth and permanence, reflecting Taurus's influence. Now, with Mars, the planet of action and energy, placed in Taurus in the third house, there's an interesting dynamic at play. Mars is all about drive, courage, and initiative. But when it's in Taurus, its fiery nature is expressed through the earthy, pragmatic lens of the bull. For Michael, this meant his way of communicating and acting on his ideas was infused with both determination and desire for harmony and beauty, the opposite of Mars. Mars in Taurus in the third house shows a person who puts a lot of energy into their thought and words, ensuring they are impactful and meaningful. Mars in Taurus in the third house can indicate a stubborn streak when it comes to ideas and decisions. Once Michael sets his mind on something, changing his course would have been difficult. This steadfastness is a double-edged sword, providing the perseverance needed to achieve greatness, but also posing challenges when flexibility was required, because Taurus is a fixed sign.
Actually, you're becoming like a stage addict. I really am. Like when there are off days and there is no show, I'm up at night dancing just to sing. It's really strange. Guess I'm an addict.
Michael Jackson's fourth house in Gemini, with the IC placement also being there, offers a fascinating insight into Michael Jackson's roots, his home life, and the foundation of his being. Gemini is an air sign known for communication, versatility, and curiosity. It brings a unique flavor to the fourth house, which represents our deepest sense of security, our family, and where we come from. With Gemini here in the fourth house, it suggests that Michael's home environment and upbringing were characterized by intellectual stimulation and perhaps a variety of interests and activities. It points to a family that valued communication with conversations and exchange of ideas being a central part of his early experiences. This could mean that learning and curiosity were encouraged, making his home a place of mental activity as much as emotional security. The placement of the IC in Gemini further emphasizes the importance of communication and intellectual connection in Michael's sense of belonging and emotional foundation. It indicates that being understood and having the freedom to express his thoughts were crucial to feeling at home and secure. This aspect of Gemini likely nurtured his later creative expressions, as his ability to communicate through his music and performance became a cornerstone for his identity. In Michael's life, Gemini's influence in the fourth house might have also meant that his concept of home was more of a mental or emotional state rather than a physical place. Given his career demands and the extensive travel it entailed, finding a home in ideas, relationships, and creative pursuits provided a more sense of stability and comfort amidst the constant change. This Gemini placement suggests that Michael's family dynamics and upbringing were complex and multifaceted. Gemini's dual nature might reflect the duality of his private life versus his public persona, where his home was both a sanctuary and a stage, a theme that played out throughout his life. Neverland was literally a theme park. That was his home. That's so Gemini in the fourth house.
I think that, a lot of his fans know some of these things, but, it continues to impress me that he had really created this environment where he could be the best artist he knew he could be.
We had teams. We used the whole ranch. My favorite thing in the world to play, if you call it a sport, it's a sport. It's a water balloon fight. 'Cause I like the way they splatter when they hit. I've never lost a water balloon fight. I'm the Michael Jordan of water balloon fighting.
He's a dude. Yeah. No!
If I dried off, they pushed me right back in. I can't believe that. First shot of me with no shirt on.
I'm a nice person. I just took a shower and I washed my hair thoroughly. Okay, here we go on 3. Wait, don't cheat. I'm gonna meet you guys over there. Okay?
You gonna ride on the train?
So you guys, I think you're taking that train back there. So I'll meet you over there.
He had kind of like a zoo, basically. He had giraffes, lions, he had alligators, and I think crocodiles, and he had snakes, and all kinds of cool animals. You probably heard of it, but he had a chimp named Bubbles.
And that was a fun place. It was a place to go and just relax for the day, made you feel that you were totally away, just away from craziness, civilization.
We are in Michael Jackson's empty fifth house. And when we talk about empty houses in astrology, like Michael Jackson's fifth house in Cancer, it doesn't mean that the house has no influence. Every house in a birth chart plays a role in shaping our lives, even if there are no planets residing there. Instead of looking for planets within the house, we turn to the ruler of the house to understand its impact. For an empty fifth house in Cancer, we look to the moon, Cancer's ruling planet, to see how it influences matters to the related fifth house topics. The fifth house is all about creativity, self-expression, romance, pleasure, and children. It's where we find joy and how we share that joy with the world. With Cancer ruling the fifth house, there's a strong emotional component to these areas of life. Cancer brings a sensitivity, nurturing, and a deep connection to one's roots and families into the mix. Michael's dedication to humanitarian causes and his genuine care for the well-being of children worldwide also echo the nurturing qualities of Cancer in the fifth house. He used his creativity not just for personal expression, but as a means to care for and protect, particularly where children were concerned. Cancer in his fifth house also shows up in his relationship with his children, how he protected his kids from the public for as long as he could.
I didn't get why I was wearing a mask, but I understand it now, why my dad would want our face to be covered. Like when we went out without him, we wouldn't be recognized and we could have a normal child.
What's special about December 25th?
It's Christmas.
Exactly. What does Christmas mean?
Love and spending time with family.
Blanket, what does Christmas mean?
Love.
Love what?
Family.
Your family. Who's your family?
You.
Me and people who love you. Now,
He ruled with the soft hand and, never made you feel, any less appreciated, even if you made a mistake, He always was just so nurturing. And I think that was really, one of the things I'll remember the most. You felt empowered around him. You knew that he wanted you to be amazing.
Michael Jackson's sixth house in Leo, accompanied by the presence of Mercury in retrograde, Venus and Uranus, offers a rich tapestry of insights into his work ethic, daily routines, and approach to health and service. The sixth house is traditionally associated with these aspects of life, and having Leo here infuses them with creativity, passion, and a desire to stand out. Leo's influence in the sixth house suggests that Michael approached his work and personal health with a great deal of pride and dedication. He wasn't just going through the motions, he aimed to shine in every aspect of his daily life. This sign's placement here indicates a person who finds joy and self-expression in their work, striving to make even the most mundane task a reflection of their own unique identity. Mercury, the planet of communication in retrograde in the sixth house, points to a thoughtful, perhaps introspective approach to work-related communication. Michael may have found himself revisiting and refining his ideas more often than most, ensuring his messages were perfect before sharing them with the world. This placement suggests a mind that was always active, always seeking ways to improve and innovate in his expressions. Venus in Leo in the sixth house brings a love of beauty and harmony to the daily grind. Michael's work, from his music to his unforgettable performances, was not just about entertainment. It was about creating something beautiful, something that spoke to the heart. Venus here shows a person who values relationships and harmony in their work environment, seeking to connect with others through their creativity and passion. Finally, let's look at the last planet in Michael Jackson's sixth house, which is Uranus in Leo, and this is all about breaking the mold. This placement signifies a revolutionary spirit when it comes to work and health routines, always willing to try new and unconventional methods. Michael was a pioneer, not just in music, but in how he approached his career and personal health, often leading the way with innovative practices that were ahead of their time.
How do you feel now that the album is out?
I feel rejuvenated, kind of, because after working on it so long, it's so much work. A lot of people, they're used to just seeing the outcome of work. They never see the side of the work you go through to produce the outcome. And I feel, rejuvenated and happy. It's a jubilation, really, is what it is. It's like a celebration. It's like, we're done.
Now, let's look at Michael Jackson's seventh house, which has the sign Virgo, his natal sun, and natal Pluto there. Michael Jackson's seventh house falls in Virgo, a sign known for its attention to detail, precision, and a strong sense of duty. This house typically governs close partnerships and significant one-on-one relationships, including marriage and business partnerships. Interestingly, the seventh house can also reflect public relationships, such as the one between an artist and their fans. Having Virgo in the seventh house suggests that Michael approached his relationships with a keen eye for detail and a desire to serve and improve. This placement indicates a person who is thoughtful and considerate in their interactions, always striving to make things better for the other person involved in the relationship. It also suggests a preference for relationships where both individuals can work together towards a practical and meaningful goal. The sun representing our core essence and identity, Michael's sun is in Virgo in the seventh house, and it shines a light on his relational dynamics, suggesting that his identity was closely tied to his ability to serve and connect with others meaningfully. It indicates that Michael found a significant part of his purpose and self-expression through his relationships, especially in how he could help heal or improve the lives of those around him. Pluto is the planet of transformation, power, and deep psychological insights. Its placement in Virgo in the seventh house points to the intense and transformative nature of Michael's relationships. This configuration suggests that his interactions with close partners and fans alike had the power to deeply change him, driving him to continually evolve and reinvent himself. It also suggests the profound impact he had on his fans, transforming them through his music and performances. Considering the seventh house connection to fans, Michael's placement in Virgo here beautifully illustrates the meticulous care and profound commitment he had towards his audience. He was not just performing, he was serving his fans, offering them something healing and transformative through his art. His attention to detail in his work, every note, every dance move, was a testament to his Virgoan desire to perfect his craft for those he connected with.
I was kind of upset about the news I heard about MTV and how they weren't showing blacks, and that kind of hurt me. So I wanted to do something that was so powerful, so strong, that everybody would have to show it. But I wanted to tell a strong story. The story had to sell itself. And what they so-called videos weren't doing that. They were terrible. There was just a lot of nothing put together just to sell a song. I wanted my things to be powerful. I wanted to stand out from everything else, that when you see it, you run to the set and you're glued to it, watching it. I wanted quality. I wanted excellence. I wanted the best. I wanted to perfect perfection.
Michael Jackson's eighth house, which has Libra, the zodiac sign, and his chart ruler, Jupiter, along with his north node. The eighth house explores the themes of shared resources, financial partnerships, and personal transformation. It's about the changes that shape us and our interactions with others' values. With Libra in the eighth house, Michael Jackson navigated deep waters with a sense of fairness, harmony, and partnership. Libra's influence here emphasizes balance and with giving and receiving. Jupiter, the planet of expansion and luck in Michael Jackson's eighth house, magnified his financial wisdom and generosity. His savvy investment in Sony/ATV is a prime example of Jupiter's blessings in financial partnerships. The North Node points us towards our destiny. For Michael, this is located in Libra, in the eighth house. It meant breaking barriers and creating balance through his transformative impact on music and culture. Just like Jupiter, Michael's generosity knew no bounds, from his charitable donations to supporting causes he believed in. His financial intelligence, particularly owning half of Sony/ATV, showcases the blend of Libra's fairness and Jupiter's luck. Michael just didn't make music. He used his platform to challenge and change cultural norms. His work transcended barriers, uniting fans across the globe, a true testament to the eighth house's transformative power.
$1 million. This represents the money Pepsi-Cola pledges to raise in Europe this summer, with our best wishes for Heal the World.
I mean, time after time, whatever else people want to say about Michael Jackson, he showed he was willing to give. You know, again and again and again, he would give all of the earnings from a tour to charity.
You know, we would go to areas in the world that he felt would benefit from him doing a show there, meaning income for the workers that can help benefit their families, their children, you know, and hopefully improve their way of life, even just for the week that we're there.
You talk to people who would see him land in some city around the world when he was on tour, go straight to a hospital to go into a burn ward or go into a ward where there were dying children, and the effect that he had on kids and his willingness. But people who saw him with those children said, you know, I mean, he could look in a dying children's eyes, look right into their eyes and make them feel so seen and so alive in that moment that it was transformative.
He's so incredibly moved by stories on the news about displaced people or, you know, folks who are suffering in any particular region. He didn't know these people, but if the TV was playing in the studio and he just saw, you know, something on the news and it touched him in a way, like it would stop rehearsal. Like he was that sensitive and in tune to other people's problems. And I think that, you know, that also allowed him to write such beautiful songs, you know, because I think he would call on these, you know, memories or experiences that he had and translate them into just really, really poignant art.
At the time, MTV didn't play any black videos, and we had this great video by Michael Jackson, and I think it was Epic had said, if you can't play Michael Jackson, you can't play any of our artists.
They had to play. It was most popular music, videos that had to be on there. It was being played everywhere else. They're showing Thriller on news broadcasts.
And from that point on, they started playing black videos. The very first black video that MTV played was Thriller.
He changed the video industry. People don't think about these things. He started doing movies instead of just something you walk out of your house and stand on the porch and sing a song. He changed the music industry, the whole thing.
Now, let's look at the ninth house, which has the zodiac sign Scorpio and Michael Jackson's natal Neptune. The ninth house is the realm of higher learning, philosophy, long-distance travel, and exploration of beliefs. It's about expanding our horizons and seeking deeper truths. Scorpio in the ninth house brings intensity, passion, and a depth to the quest for knowledge and understanding. For Michael Jackson, this meant a lifelong journey of exploring profound and transformative truths through his music and public persona. Neptune, the planet of dreams, imagination, and spirituality, sits in Michael's ninth house in Scorpio. This placement amplifies his intuitive connection to the collective consciousness and his ability to tap into the universal themes of love, loss, and healing in his work. Michael's music often went into deep, complex themes, reflecting Scorpio's influence in his ninth house. Songs like Man in the Mirror and Heal the World showcase his commitment to change and healing on a global scale. Scorpio in the ninth house with Neptune also signifies Michael's extensive influence across cultures and his worldwide travels. He didn't just visit places, he connected deeply with diverse communities, sharing messages of hope and unity. Michael's work and public statements often reflected a rich spiritual and philosophical depth, a testament to the Scorpio-Neptune combination in his ninth house. He sought to inspire and provoke thought, pushing others to look beyond the surface.
He used to write on his mirror. Michael would put on a mirror, I'm going to sell 30 million records. And Jackie used to look at it and say, he's crazy, you know, and not 30, 40, 45.
He had sticky notes all over the place. If he found a quote, like if it was someone he liked, like I remember he had a bunch of stuff from like Muhammad Ali or something, like very philosophical stuff that said peace and all that. He always would post it up there and just remember it and always look at it. He had pictures, he'd have sticky notes, drawings, lyrics for a song all over the place.
One of his greatest talents, he felt, was being able to tap into his higher power and let the art flow through him. So you have to credit his spirituality and his upbringing, you know, with that awareness on that level, and especially in his creative process.
I tend to hold a feeling that no matter what you do in the world, it really has to start with you.
It's my philosophy too. If you want to make the world a better place, take a look at yourself and then make a change.
Is it hard to do?
Yeah, well, people don't look at themselves honestly. They don't look at themselves and point the finger at them. It's always the other guy's fault or somebody else. You should change yourself. Look at yourself. Make better of yourself.
No, he was quiet. He kept to himself. You know, all you have to do is take a look at the interviews that he did. Then all people had to do is listen to his music, and that's the best interview you could have gotten from him.
Singers, when they sing songs, it's like a mantra. When you repeat a chorus over and over and over. So when a kid hears a song and he starts singing that chorus over and over and over, then you start to hear it in the alpha state into the subconscious mind. So you start to become the song or become what you're saying.
Me, I believe that it was the way he wrote his songs and his lyrics about things that people could actually relate to, and the way he just danced was something that nobody has ever seen before. So now I understand why they looked up to him.
The 10th house, which has the zodiac signs Sagittarius, Michael Jackson's midheaven, and Saturn placements. The 10th house is about career, public image, and achievements. It's where we see our ambitions, how we aim to leave a mark on the world, and how others perceive us in the professional arena. When Sagittarius is in the 10th house, there's a drive for freedom, exploration, and pushing boundaries in one's career. For Michael, this meant a lifelong journey of musical innovation and breaking new ground in the entertainment industry. Saturn, the planet of discipline and structure, sits in Michael's 10th house. This placement suggests a serious commitment to his career goals and a willingness to work hard to achieve his ambitions, often facing and overcoming significant challenges along the way. The MC represents our public face, our reputation, and our ultimate achievements. Michael's MC in Sagittarius highlights his status as a global icon, known for his adventurous spirit in music and performance, and his philosophical outlook shared through his art. Michael's Sagittarius 10th house drove him to constantly expand his musical horizons, experimenting with different genres and themes, and reaching audiences worldwide, transcending cultural barriers with universal messages of love and unity. Saturn's presence in the 10th house meant Michael faced his share of hurdles in life and career. Yet it also endowed him with the resilience to persist, mastering his craft and solidifying his legacy as the king of pop. I want to note that Just because Michael Jackson's Saturn conjunct his midheaven, he faced a lot of criticism and a lot of strife with that placement because it formed a square to his natal moon, both immutable energy. So that's an issue with authority of him expressing his emotions and how he feels about certain things, and simply him just being him.
There have been many disgusting statements made recently concerning allegations of improper conduct on my part. These statements about me are totally false.
Guilty on all counts. So Jackson's lead attorney, Tom Mesereau, live on the victory and the party overnight at Neverland, and Jackson's journey.
Michael Jackson, not guilty, all 10 counts. Good morning, Jim.
Good morning, Robin. What a difference an hour makes in the life of Michael Jackson. He came to court facing terrible charges that drained him of health and spirit. And then moments later, vindication, finally going home to Neverland to sleep, unburdened by the prospect of prison.
The way to deal with the media during that trial was to basically shut them out. My view of the media was somewhere between suspicion and contempt. I focused, and we focused, on 13 people, the judge and 12 jurors. They were the most important people in that case. Basically, we lived like hermits. We, had our compound with our staff and all of our evidence. We had one war room, we called it, with about 4,000 binders of documents, and all we did was focus on the evidence in the courtroom. We pretty much ignored the media.
The 11th house with Capricorn. The 11th house is where we explore our hopes, dreams, friendships, and connections to larger communities. It's about our social circles and the impact we wish to make on the world around us. With Capricorn in the 11th house, there's a focus on building lasting friendships and achieving goals through perseverance and dedication. For Michael Jackson, this meant a serious approach to his dreams and the people he connected with. Capricorn's influence in the 11th house drives a person to not just dream, but lay down practical steps to achieve those dreams. Michael's enduring legacy in music and philanthropy showcases this trait as he worked tirelessly to make lasting impact. Capricorn here also suggests that Michael valued loyalty and reliability in friendships and professional relationships. He sought meaningful connections that had purpose and depth, both in his personal life and in his wider social circle. Michael's ambitious nature and methodical approach to his career can be attributed to Capricorn being in the 11th house. He set high standards for himself and his work, aiming to reach and inspire as many people as possible. The 11th house also reflects Michael's relationship with his fans. Capricorn's influence meant he was dedicated to his fan base, viewing them as an extended community he was responsible for uplifting and inspiring through his music and humanitarian efforts. Michael's Capricorn 11th house fueled his commitment to making a difference in the world, not just through his art, but also through his actions. His efforts to help children worldwide and raise awareness on global issues are examples of this drive. Michael Jackson's 11th house in Capricorn shaped his approach to friendships, goals, and community, highlighting a life lived with purpose, determination, and a deep desire to connect with and improve the world.
Are you happy with what you see?
In what way?
Just when you look there, in terms of that social philosophy.
I'm never totally satisfied. I always wish the world could be a better place. No, not at all. Hopefully, that's what I do with my music, bring happiness to people.
Children have been so much inspiration for everything I've done. I think everything comes out of that level of innocence. Even with Spielberg or Lucas, you look at their work, they create on that level of purity, and that's where I get all my inspiration from. I think it'll always be that way.
Take iconic sort of ideas like the military and armies, and he would say things like, look at the strength and the power in that. What if it all for good? What if it all served a positive purpose? What if it was all strength and joyous and celebratory, as opposed to always so dark and so much bloodshed? That kind of thinking was always front and center with him.
We are finally at the house of endings, the 12th house. And for Michael Jackson, the zodiac sign associated with the 12th house is Aquarius. and the asteroid Chiron sits in the 12th house. So, the 12th house explores our subconscious, hidden strengths, secret challenges, and the parts of ourselves we keep away from the public eye. It's the realm of the unseen, deeply connected to our inner world. With Aquarius in the 12th house, there's a focus on individuality, innovation, and humanitarian ideals with the private realm. For Michael Jackson, this meant harboring deep progressive visions and ideals that influence his artistic expression and personal beliefs. Chiron, known as the wounded healer in the 12th house, signifies deep hidden wounds that offer potential for healing, both personally and for others. Michael's placement here suggests his challenges were deeply private, but also a source of great empathy and healing power. Michael's Aquarius influence in the 12th house alongside Chiron is mirrored in his innovative music and performances that often carried messages of healing, unity, and social change. His art offered a glimpse into the inner world, aiming to heal not only himself, but society at large. This placement also highlights Michael's need for privacy and his unique approach to life. Despite being a public figure, he cherished his solitude, where he could freely explore his innovative ideas and ideals away from the public eye. Michael's 12th house in Aquarius reflects his humanitarian vision. Even in his most private moments, he dreamed of a better world. His efforts to help children and the underprivileged were seeded by the deep-seated beliefs represented in this house. Now we are going to look at Michael Jackson's chart ruler, and since his first house sits in the sign of Pisces, the traditional ruler is Jupiter. In modern astrology, it is Neptune, but for this video, we are going to look at Jupiter. Let's define the chart ruler. The chart ruler is the planet that rules the sign on the ascendant or rising sign of your natal chart. It's considered one of the most important planets in your chart. The chart ruler significantly influences your personality, appearance, and the way you approach life and challenges. It's like the captain of your personal ship, guiding your journey. The placement of the chart ruler by house and sign, along with its aspects to other planets, shows how and where in life you're likely to express yourself most forcefully and effectively. On March the 11th, 1969, Michael Jackson and his brothers signed a 7-year contract with Motown. And this is the contract that made them famous. When Michael Jackson and his brothers secured their record deal with Motown, it wasn't just a pivotal moment in their careers. It was an astrological milestone marked by Michael's first Jupiter return in Libra. This significant event symbolized a period of expansion, luck, and breaking generational curses for Michael and his family. The conjunction of Jupiter, transiting Jupiter, the South Node, and Uranus and Libra in the 8th house added a karmic dimension to this time, emphasizing the Jacksons' role in breaking racial barriers and achieving unprecedented success as one of the first African American families to gain such prominence on television shortly after the era of desegregation. This alignment highlighted the transformative impact they were destined to have, not just on their lives, but on cultural norms and the entertainment industry. Additionally, transiting Saturn's conjunction with Michael's natal South Node in Aries in the 2nd house reflected the discipline, hard work, and authoritative guidance from their father. This aspect underscored how the strict and committed approach of Michael Jackson's dad was instrumental in paving the way for their family's success. The Jacksons' journey with Motown became a testament to their talent, resilience, and the astrological timing that aligned to propel them into history, breaking barriers and setting new standards for artists to come. So if we look at the outer wheel, we can see in Michael Jackson's 8th house that Uranus, Jupiter, and the South Node are all forming a conjunction, and the 8th house represents karmic patterns as well as the 4th and 12th house. So these are our roots, ancestors, and it also represents our spiritual beliefs, the way that we connect and merge with those energies in our lives. And in Michael Jackson's case, Jupiter is his chart ruler. And this is very important energy for Michael Jackson because Jupiter navigates his chart. And this is bringing about new opportunities for Michael Jackson. And I also believe Saturn in the 2nd house in Aries, conjunct his South Node, sets a karmic tone for him to always have issues with authority figures when he's trying to assert his dominance and break records and bring his pioneering energy to the forefront. On December the 14th, 1969, the Jackson Five made their debut on The Ed Sullivan Show. This is the performance that made them famous. This performance coincided with Michael Jackson's first Jupiter return in Libra in the 8th house, a time traditionally associated with expansion, luck, and significant life milestones. This return emphasized the beginning of a new cycle of growth and opportunity, perfectly timed with their national television debut, setting the stage for the Jacksons' skyrocketing fame. On the same day, transiting Mars in Aquarius in the 12th house forms a square to Neptune in Scorpio in the 9th house, a configuration that might have added challenges or uncertainties, but also highlighted the immense creative and spiritual energy that the Jacksons brought to their performance, captivating the nation. The transiting North Node, representing destiny and karmic paths, was conjunct Michael's natal moon in Pisces in the 1st house, underscoring the emotional and public impact of this event. This alignment suggested that their success was not by chance, but was fated part of their legacy, marking the beginning of the Jackson family's profound influence on music and pop culture. The stars truly aligned for Michael and his family that day, foreshadowing their legendary status they would achieve in years to come. So as you can see, in the 8th house, Jupiter is conjunct Michael's Jupiter. So this is a new cycle for Michael, bringing a new opportunity for him. I see the video of this specific day, November the 6th, 1979, going around on social media all the time, but I never see anybody talk about the astrology of it and its significance. Michael Jackson once wrote a letter to himself, a manifesto, declaring his ambition to perfect entertainment and become the greatest entertainer ever. On the day he penned this powerful declaration, the stars seemed to align in support of his dreams. And I just think that's so amazing. Transiting Jupiter, his chart ruler, and the North Node were conjunct his natal sun in Virgo in the 7th house, magnifying his personal drive for perfection and success in relationships and partnerships with his fans, specifically, in my opinion, which are key in the entertainment industry. Meanwhile, transiting Pluto was conjunct his natal North Node in Libra in the 8th house, and sextile both his natal Venus in Leo in the 6th house and Neptune in Sagittarius in the 10th house. This powerful Pluto alignment underscored a period of deep transformation, facilitating a profound connection to his art and audience, enhancing his creative expression and aligning his career with his higher spiritual and artistic goals. Transiting Mars in Leo in the 6th house, trine his natal South Node in Aries in the 2nd house, fueled his ambition with energy to break through barriers and assert his talent. Michael's pure intentions and genuine love for art weren't just personal, they were karmic, driven by a desire to make a positive impact on the world. These transits reveal a cosmic support for Michael's vision, helping to manifest his dream into reality and confirming his role as a global megastar who not only achieved unparalleled greatness in entertainment, but also contributed to healing on a collective consciousness level. So this specific day, in my opinion, kind of solidified his pure intentions, in my opinion, because I don't know personally if he was tracking astrology or not, but I do think that there is, or I do believe that there is a benevolent energy, whether you call that God, goddesses, Buddha, whoever. And that energy was supporting Michael Jackson when he wrote this or scripted on this day.
1979. He was on the road with his brothers on the Destiny tour. MJ will be my new name. No more Michael Jackson. I want a whole new character, a whole new look. I should be a totally different person. People should never think of me as the kid who sang ABC, I Want You Back. I should be a new, incredible actor, singer, dancer that will shock the world. I will do no interviews. I will be magic. I will be a perfectionist, a researcher, a trainer, a master. I will be better than every great actor roped in one. I must have the most incredible training system to dig and dig and dig until I find. I will study and look back on the whole world of entertainment and perfect it. Take it steps further from where the greatest left off.
On February the 27th, 1980, Michael Jackson won his first Grammy as a solo artist. The stars were aligned in a way that not only celebrated his achievements, but also deeply affirmed his path in music. Jupiter and Mars, both in retrograde, met in Virgo in the seventh house, amplifying the energy around partnerships and public recognition. This conjunction, including both planets touching his natal Pluto in Virgo, highlighted a transformative period in Michael's career, where his work and collaborations were expanding his influence in the music world significantly. Venus in Aries in the second house of values and possessions made several impactful aspects. It opposed transiting Pluto and Libra in the eighth house, suggesting a powerful, challenging shift in his creative output and public perception. This opposition was balanced by Venus, trining his natal Saturn and midheaven in Sagittarius in the 10th house, and sextiling Chiron in Aquarius in the 12th house, along with the trine and Neptune in Sagittarius. A lot going on. These aspects signify not just a moment of achievement, but a profound confirmation of his career direction, solidifying his confidence and belief in his unique talents and contributions to the world of music. The Grammy win under these transits symbolized a turning point, deeply affirming his manifesto and marking the beginning of his journey as a global superstar, acknowledging his hard work, talent, and the psychological transformation he was undergoing in realizing his dreams. So I believe that this day significantly impacted him, and it made him truly believe in himself. With Venus talking to his second house of self-worth and self-value. On November the 29th, 1982, Michael Jackson released Thriller, the best-selling album of all time. The planetary alignment spoke volumes about the global impact and cultural shifts that were about to unfold. Transiting Jupiter in Scorpio in the ninth house, symbolizing expansion and exploration of deeper truths, was in a dynamic opposition to Chiron in Taurus in the third house, indicating a moment of profound healing and transformation through communication and short-distance travel. This aspect highlighted how Thriller would touch on universal themes, resonating across borders. Jupiter's sextile to Mars in Capricorn in the 11th house of community and social networks underscored the album's power to galvanize and energize people worldwide, fostering connections through shared musical experience. Meanwhile, Jupiter's opposition to Michael's natal Mars and square to his natal Mercury, retrograde in Leo in the 6th house of work and health, underscored the challenges and immense efforts behind the album's creation, as well as the revolutionary impact on music and video production. Pluto's conjunction with his natal Jupiter in Libra in the 8th house of transformation and shared resources magnified the depth of change, not just for Michael personally, but for the music industry and global culture. Thriller broke barriers, setting new records and establishing Michael Jackson as a pioneer who transcended racial divides, particularly with his groundbreaking presence on MTV. This album didn't just solidify Michael as the greatest entertainer of all time. It changed the world, bringing people together through the universal language of music. On this day, Michael Jackson's natal Jupiter was talking to Mars in his 6th house. So Jupiter was transiting his 9th house, which is of publication and like publishing things. So this is something that he really, really worked hard for and on. He was probably really nervous about it as well. This was really challenging for him, and this was an obstacle that he needed to overcome, and he did. I want to address the topic that has generated a lot of discussion on my TikTok page about a month ago. I made a video about Michael Jackson being innocent in the child allegation charges, which are fact. He was acquitted in 2005. But I think that it's crucial we approach this topic with open minds, whether you believe he's guilty or innocent. It's very important that we seek the truth rather than perpetuate unfounded claims. So it's important to clarify that the books in question by Michael Jackson or from Michael Jackson's book collection that were in his possession were in fact art books. These books are publicly available, actually on Amazon, and recognized for their artistic value. They do not contain illicit content. One of the books was in fact inscribed by Michael Jackson, which does not mean he was wrong, that he did anything wrong. That is a very common practice. The book was actually a gift and the fan inscribed it as well. Regarding the allegations, it's vital that we highlight the extensive investigation conducted for more than a decade, including by the FBI, which found no evidence to support the claims of child abuse. In 2005, after a thorough trial, Michael Jackson was acquitted of all charges. These are often facts looked over in discussion over social media platforms, which often tend to sensationalize rather than tell the truth. Some of the comments that y'all left on my page was really disrespectful and insulted my intelligence, or tried to insult my intelligence, but it only let me know that you guys literally take short form content as fact without any research for doing any research for yourself. Most of you were Gen Zers, and this is not me being ageist. This is just me making an observation, which is fair, okay? Most of you guys have Saturn in Aries or Saturn in Taurus, which are very weak points in Michael Jackson's birth chart. So that means you guys probably have an internal spiritual bias against this man, whether you think he looks like the boogeyman or weird. And I really encourage you guys to look him up, research him, and look at all of his work prior to these allegations and including after these allegations, because he was unable to talk about these allegations. So he talked about it in his music, or sung about it in his music. I encourage you all to research this man's legacy and life, the biased and unbiased opinions, and develop your own. But don't go around criticizing, bullying, harassing anybody for their own opinion. I will be uploading a part 2 analyzing the trials chart, the allegations chart. So thank you so much for watching. And if you loved this content, subscribe, thumbs up, let me know that you really love this so that I can continue to feel motivated to do this. And until next time, peace.
These men have been suing Michael Jackson's estate, trying to obtain hundreds of millions of dollars for the last 6 years. And during that court case, which has been ongoing for the last 6 years, there has been generated thousands of pages of court documents, which along the way have severely discredited these men. In fact, Wade Robson was found in that lawsuit to have lied under oath so egregiously that the judge threw out his entire witness statement and said that no rational juror could ever believe his account. He was forced, as part of this lawsuit, to release as evidence all of his emails. And those emails revealed that, firstly, that while he was constructing his lawsuit, he was researching other people's allegations about Michael Jackson and emailing them to himself. And also that he found one old tabloid story about him, and he emailed it to his mother. And he said, "Do you remember any of this? Is any of this true?" His mother replied to that email and said, verbatim, said, "Wow, none of this is true." And then Wade Robson included the story in his account anyway. So there is significant evidence that these guys are not telling the truth. And as I say, we're not talking about stories that are changing over decades. We're talking about somebody who's come forward quite recently, within the last couple of years, and consistently changes their story.
But I did not know about this, decade-long FBI surveillance. I mean, to me, that is a very important fact. That's a key fact that suggests that if there was anything, because we all remember that time. We remember that time when there was a lot of pressure on Michael Jackson. If he was under FBI surveillance, trust and believe, if there was something there to be found, they would have moved on it. It's my belief.
Michael? And it would have leaked.
Yeah.
And that was the first I've heard that. I didn't even know. What year was that, Roland? When was that?
That was, first of all, in 2009, the FBI released their Michael Jackson FBI file. Folks, if you actually go to actually, let me pull it up right here. Here we go to my iPad. If you go to vault.fbi.gov, you will actually see the FBI files there on Michael Jackson. And so you'll see what they have here. And I'm going to read this here. Michael Jackson, 1958 to 2009, was a famous singer and entertainer. Between 1993 and 1994, and separately between 2004 and 2005, Jackson was investigated by California law enforcement agencies for possible child molestation. He was acquitted of all such charges. The FBI provided technical and investigative assistance to these agencies during the cases. The Bureau also investigated threats made against Mr. Jackson and others by an individual who was later in prison for these crimes. These investigations occurred between 1992 and 2005.
Brandy Jackson is Michael Jackson's niece. She dated Wade, so she knows both sides of this party very well.
And she dated him for 7 years. This isn't like just like a schoolyard dating thing.
No.
It's a long-term girlfriend.
Brandy.
Good morning. How are you? Welcome to the show, hun.
Good morning. Thank you so much for having me.
When you sat down, were you thinking these people are lying? This is not true? Tell me your thoughts.
Absolutely, yeah. You know, when I was watching it, I was completely sickened by it, to be honest with you. The things that he was saying were so over the top and so ridiculous. He was not describing my uncle. He was describing a totally different person, but not my uncle. And that's why this is a narrative that has changed in his entire speaking over the last 15 years. Everything that he's ever said about my uncle is the complete opposite of who he was painting in this documentary.
The Wade Robeson story is on paper is a complete joke. And I purposely went into watching the Neverland movie. I don't want to call it a documentary because it's ridiculously one-sided, even if Jackson is guilty. Let me just say, I hate this subject, Glenn. I hate being the person that has to stand up and say, wait a minute, but no one else wants to do this. My dog in this hunt is not Michael Jackson. I don't care about Michael Jackson. I care about the truth, and I really, really care about the rules we're creating for how we evaluate these kind of stories, because that is radically changing in a very dangerous way. And this one is the most inexplicable that I have ever seen. At 22, in the midst of a massive criminal trial, he is not just a witness for Michael Jackson. He's Michael Jackson's first defense witness. But as far as Wade Robeson, there is no way in hell that Tom Mesereau or Michael Jackson, if he's a criminal mastermind, is going to put Wade Robeson on the stand first in his criminal trial if he's abused him for 7 years, and that Tom Mesereau, who has interviewed him vigorously, his family vigorously, is going to put him on the stand first. This is the testimony, which was vigorously defending Jackson, is only one of 1,000 data points that continue well after the trial and well after Jackson's death that Robeson was never abused. And then it only shifts immediately after, when Michael Jackson is dead and Robeson loses out on the job to choreograph a Cirque du Soleil Michael Jackson show in Las Vegas. And then he sues for millions of dollars. The first time he ever tells a story to anyone. And in the course of that lawsuit, the discovery shows how he created his story.
And as far as making anybody testify, I would love for Wade Robeson to show me the subpoena he never got. I simply called him and told him, listen, we need to get you up there by such and such a date. I was in regular communication with his sister, who testified. I was in regular communication with his mother, who testified. So when I hear some of these allegations, I'm trying not to say the stupidity level, the absurdity level is insane.
Jimmy Sakestup was never an issue during the trial. We did no work on him. We did no preparation on him. He was not an issue. He was never, ever going to testify. The court, Judge Melville, took him out of the mix long before the trial started.
How do people get over that hurdle of, well, he was sleeping in the bed with children, he's got to be guilty?
Yeah, I think the wording is very important too. Even though it's the same exact thing, I think when you say sleeping with, which is not the words he used, he's sharing a bed with. When you say sleeping with, people automatically have a sexual connotation to it. You know, who did you sleep with? You know, in that way. And that's the media that had put those words out there in terms of like, oh, he slept in the bed with kids and stuff like that. And it's psychologically supposed to be that way in terms of that, you know, nowhere did my uncle ever say, and no kid has ever said, oh, he snuggled with us and, you know, he put his arm over me and all that stuff. It's like, their perception of it, which someone that had slumber parties and stuff like that with me and my brothers as well. This was, and Macaulay said it too. You fall asleep sometimes watching cartoons or Three Stooges or whatever, and it's like everyone would just pile on the bed and just hang out.
Nothing happened, I mean, nothing really. I mean, we played video games, we played it as an amusement park. Well, the thing is with that whole thing is that, they go, oh, you slept in the same bedroom as him. It's like, I don't think you understand. Michael Jackson's bedroom is 2 stories. And it has like 3 bathrooms and this and that. So when I slept in his bedroom, yeah, but you have to understand the whole scenario. And the thing is with Michael is that he's not very good at explaining himself, and he never really has been, because he's not a very social person. I mean, you're talking about someone who's been sheltered and sheltering himself also for the last 30 years, or and so he's not very good at communicating to people and not very good at conveying what he's actually trying to say to you. And so when he says something like that, people, he doesn't quite understand why people react the way that they do.
I understand what people think about that, in that way, but you have to start listening to the people that were around that atmosphere, girls and boys, which they don't ever mention the girls, like Nicole Richie and other people that have hung out with him and done that, sleepovers and slumber parties and stuff like that. They don't mention that aspect of it because the narrative is young boys in that way.
Certainly when I made the documentary, there was a small part of that which contained a controversy concerning his relationship with other young people. But the truth is that he was never convicted of any crime. I never saw any wrongdoing myself. And whilst his lifestyle may have been a bit unorthodox, I don't believe it was criminal. And I think the world has now lost the greatest entertainer it's probably ever known.